Hi guys, hope you're well. Just a video here to talk you through the conditioning program that we've designed for you to do online whilst you're not at the college. Good opportunity for us to upskill maybe an area that's lacking in us, and maybe an area that's a little bit misunderstood and undervalued from a strength conditioning point of view. The conditioning part sometimes tends to just carry ideas of, aerobic work, going in the gym, going for a bit of a run, maybe far less structured than, say, the strength conditioning sort of side of it in the gym, where we've got programs, we follow our weights, we increase, we progress, we regress, we test for it regularly. So this is a chance for us to, work on a really key facet of strength conditioning. If you just think about that for a moment, every task we do, so if we want to be quick, powerful, strong, all of those key markers require our aerobic base to A, allow us to perform the work, and B, to be able to recover after we've done it. So if I make a sprint effort in hockey, for example, during that period where the game is stopped or the ball has gone out of play, it's my aerobic base that allows me to recover and be able to perform that work again. If it was just simply about strength, then the strongest athlete in the gym would be the best on the pitch, and as we know, that's not the case. So this is a good opportunity for us to work on our conditioning side and educate ourselves on that front. So on that, I'm going to talk you through the program. If you look here on block 1, so just on that point, I've got block 1, block 2, and this goes all the way down, right the way down, it keeps going to block 8. Now, in essence, each block is a week. So block 1 is week 1, block 2 is week 2. However, the reason it says block and not week is that I don't want you to move to block 2 if you can't achieve block 1. Okay, so let's just say, we're looking at this lasting for a month or 5 weeks or whatever. If my fitness levels are such that I find block 1 really challenging and I can't complete it, then I would note that, I'd keep my records, but I would stick on block 1. It is only when I've completed that I would move to the challenge of block 2. Okay, so that's the first thing to consider. You'll also notice there's 2 stars here, and we see these 2 stars in block 1. We see them crop up again in block 3 and block 5 and so on. That basically means that we want you to start the block with a fitness test. We want to see where, whatever we're doing, whether it's in the weights room or conditioning, or I want to have a starting point. So if I go down to the bottom of this plan here, you'll see that there's a little note on fitness test. And all we want you to do here is pick a way of doing it. So either a 5-minute run, 5 minutes on a static bike, or if you've got a row machine, it could be a cross trainer. It doesn't really matter. But what we're trying to do here, guys, is we're trying to cover as much distance as we can in a 5-minute period. Okay, so let's just say I've got a row machine at home. I get on the rower, I set the clock 5 minutes, and let's say I cover 1,000 meters in those 5 minutes. That would simply be the fitness test. And what we're obviously looking for is in week 3, or whenever I do my test again, that 1,000 meters, turns into 1,100. And I could ramble all day about this, but quite simply, if I'm going further in the same time distance, I'm getting fitter. So sometimes that's referred to as a maximal aerobic speed test. But if it was a run, same thing. If I've got a distance on my watch or my phone, I record, I run for 5 minutes and I record the distance covered. And we're going to track that over the period of time. The other thing I want you to do is quite simply record your resting heart rate. Okay, now do this first thing in the morning before you've got up and run around and had a few espressos or whatever it is you do. Okay, get your pulse, and that can be quite simply radial pulse, 2 fingers on the wrist. Take the pulse for 15 seconds, times it by 4, record that as well. what we'd like to see over the course of this program, we're completing more blocks. Now that in itself would tell us we're getting fitter. Our energy system is becoming more efficient because we can do more. Our resting heart rate in the morning is coming down, and you know, back onto the fitness test, I'm seeing myself produce better scores in those simple tests. Okay, so on that, if we look at the program itself, block 1. Now, in block 1 and block 2, I do talk about heart rates of you having a heart rate, say here, between 120 and 140. If you've got a heart rate monitor, great. If you're using like a smart watch, like an iWatch or a Fitbit, all I would say on those is they can sometimes be a little bit inaccurate. So if you've got a heart rate strap, then great. If you haven't, just I would take the sort of readings you get off the watches with a pinch of salt. And that's why you'll notice here, I've also offered in what we call an RPE, which is a rate of perceived exertion. And here you'll notice I've said a 4 out of 10. That is a really good, simple way of gauging intensity on a conditioning session. So don't worry if you don't have access to a heart rate monitor. But you'll see here, for example, zone 1, it asks you to work for 20 minutes, keeping your heart rate between 120 or 140, or an effort level of 4 out of 10. So, and if you see here, it's not meant to be that hard, okay? It's not meant to be that hard. How you do this, again, it says here, run, bike, row, cross trainer. It also says a light circuit, which I will, this program, by the way, guys, will be uploaded onto the college internet, so you'll be able to find this, and there'll be an example of how, if you don't want to go running or you haven't got a bike or row machine, I'll show you a bodyweight circuit that would easily achieve this as well. So that would be on the Monday. Wednesday, you'll see a sort of more of an interval based session. So it's saying here, work for 20 seconds at a 7 out of 10. So it's a bit harder. You're pushing yourself there, and then rest for 40 seconds. And it's asking you to try and complete 10 sets of that, okay? And if you look at the Friday, we're back on that slower, steady pace activity again, yeah? So 30 minutes with a heart rate of 120 to 40, or that lower intensity of 4 out of 10, okay? So what we've got there is variety. We've got slow pace cardio that goes on for a bit more duration, and then we've got this sort of higher intensity interval training that works at a higher level, but it doesn't last as long, and we have shorter recovery. So let's just say, for example, my fitness isn't great, and I'm starting out in block 1, and I can only run for 10 minutes, for example. It doesn't matter. I record that, I make a note of it, and my goal then becomes around block 1. That might take me 3 weeks, but my aim then, my goal becomes to achieve what's written down in block 1. I might be very good at the cardio stuff, the sort of longer duration stuff, but I really find the sort of interval approach quite tricky. So again, I would stay in block 1 until I can achieve that. Block 2 pretty much follows the same format. And then what you'll notice as the blocks go on is life just becomes a little bit more intense. Okay, it's asking you to sort of do the interval training for a bit longer. It's asking you to do more sets of stuff. So quite simply, the volume tends to grow as the blocks increase. But again, I'm going to highlight that, you know, out of all the students that receive this, think about the huge sort of variation in ages, experience, physical capabilities. For one athlete, this might be really, really up their street, and for another athlete, they might really struggle with it. Okay, so try and make it about you. Do not jump the blocks just because you've got bored of the one you're in. You genuinely need to be able to complete that. You'll notice as well the interval stuff, it goes away. So if from block 3, I no longer ask you to use a heart rate monitor. The reason being is that, you know, heart rates will vary in these kind of higher intensity runs you go on. So your perceived rate of effort, so a 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10, becomes really important and a good skill for you to be able to use to gauge intensity. So in the future, if myself or Mr. Ellison give you a plan and we ask for a level of intensity, you'll be well schooled in how that works. Okay. Any questions, any problems with the program, I'll be available. Myself and Mr. Ellison will be available via email and other forms for you to contact us. But I hope you enjoy the plan. I look forward to hearing about it, and I hope you're all staying safe during this time. Take care.